is the story of a boy that got possessed by a corpse god. But before we dive into it, make sure to like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel and share. The corpse god, a name whispered with dread throughout the realms, had finally met his end. The story begins with the hero, a radiant warrior of light, had triumphed over the necromancer's dark magic, banishing him to oblivion. The battle was one of mass slaughtering, but the hero triumphed over the corpse god. Or so they thought. The corpse god, however, was no mere mortal. His essence, a potent mixture of dark magic and raw willpower, clung to existence, seeking a new vessel. He found it in the form of Polka Shinoyama, a young boy in modern-day Tokyo, whose life was tragically cut short by a shadowy assassin. Polka's body, still warm despite the fatal blow, was the perfect vessel for the corpse god's essence to transfer. He awoke, not as a fearsome skeletal warrior, but as a confused and disoriented teenager. His eyes, once glowing with spectral power, were now filled with the bewildered innocence of youth. His first thought was not of his defeat or his new form, but of the strange and unfamiliar surroundings. He found himself in a cramped, cluttered apartment, surrounded by modern gadgets and brightly colored posters. The air buzzed with the cacophony of urban life. He tried to access his magic, the very force that had shaped his existence, but found it suppressed. This new body, young and untainted by magic, refused to cooperate. It was as if his power had been sealed, rendered dormant. As he explored this new world, he realized the vast gulf between his former existence and this modern one. Magic was unheard of, replaced by advanced technology. His past, a tapestry woven with ancient rituals and forbidden knowledge, was now a distant memory. Polka's throat was slashed by an assassin, causing him to almost die, and when he was awake he had difficulty in speaking. The assassin sent to kill Polka was Misaki Sakamiya, a teen girl whose parents got assassinated, and now she kills bad people with a smile on her face. She wondered how it will feel to kill a good person, so she took the job to assassinate Polka. After she fails to kill Polka the first time, she went back to finish the job. When she met Polka, she gave him a physical and put his face on her massive bosoms. Noticing that Polka is still warm, she realized that Polka is still alive, so she decided to kill him again. Polka ran for his life because he is a scared P.O.S. and his powers were still dormant. Polka, being hopeless, after running away, took all his strength, hid in an uncompleted building. He could hardly feel the presence of the spirits. The assassin found him and wanted to play with him, but the only thing he wanted to play with was her massive cannons. Polka managed to dodge all of her blades. He was trying to play defense, but he acquired more damage in the process, so he decided to run dastardly. But he made up his mind not to give up. Polka ran into a dark room full of ghosts, and his powers activated starting from his evil eye. The evil eye gives Polka the ability to see ghosts and use them for whatever he pleases. The girl continues taunting Polka, not knowing he has regained his powers. After her continued blabbing, she charged at Polka, but Polka used his most powerless magic technique to stab her with a skeleton, or killing her instantly. The corpse god, hidden within the innocent body of Polka Shinoyama, felt a surge of power. The darkness within him stirred, urging him to unleash his power. But he knew that he could not simply revert to his old ways. He had to find a way to use his power for good, to protect this world he had come to care about. Polka later on resurrected Misaki Sakamiya, the assassin sent to kill him, as he wanted to get intel on why she wanted to kill him. As she woke up to check if she is still alive, Polka got lost at the sight of her Bristol cities. The head of the assassin team came looking for Misaki Sakamiya, wanting to avenge her death. But seeing her still alive, Clarissa, the head of the assassin team, analyzed Misaki's body temperature, but rubbing her face on her double axe. After analyzing Misaki, it is discovered that she is 100% dead and living as a zombie. Clarissa negotiates a deal with Polka to give him a peaceful life if he works with her. His journey was just beginning. The corpse god, once a harbinger of darkness, had found a new purpose. He would protect this world, not as a fearsome necromancer, but as a hero in the body of a boy named Polka Shinoyama. He would embrace his new life, his new identity, and use his power to fight the darkness that threatened to engulf the world. He would be the hero that the world needed, even if it was a hero in the most unexpected of forms. Polka is settling into his new life when a man arrives begging Misaki to save him from gangsters. Polka sends her with him, but the job isn't what it seems. Meanwhile, other factions in Shinjuku investigate Polka's role in the fire. Misaki followed the informant nervously into the safe house, her hand gripping the pistol Polka had given her. The man's story about being hunted by dangerous gangsters had set off warning bells in her mind, but Polka had insisted she go investigate. As they enter the shabby, dimly lit room, Misaki's suspicions were immediately confirmed. Rather than cornered gangsters, a group of hardened men were waiting for them. The informant's demeanor changed as he sneered at Misaki. Well, looks like the little bird fell right into our trap," he said, pulling a gun from his coat. "Polka's been avoiding us for too long. Time to send him a message." Misaki's mind raced as she realized this was all an ambush to get to Polka. The informant shot Misaki twice but was quickly overpowered by Polka. Meanwhile, back at Polka's hideout, the former enforcer sat nervously, wondering what was taking Misaki so long. Polka braced himself, realizing his fragile peace was about to be shattered. He would have to fight his way out if he had any hope of rescuing Misaki. The story shifts to the specialized police hunting unit. Polka may have initially gotten involved with a criminal element while he was using his necromantic abilities to help others, but it drew unwanted attention and he had to go into hiding, aligning himself with unsavory characters for protection. Now, the specialized police unit has caught wind of Polka's activities, seeing him as a high-priority target. Polkawood is in a difficult position. He wants to avoid confrontation and maintain a low profile, but the determined cops won't give up easily. He'd have to use his wits and necromantic skills to evade their pursuit, all while trying to extricate himself from the criminal connections he's made. Perhaps he could even try to leverage his relationship with the criminals to throw the cops off his trail, or find a way to cooperate with the police covertly without drawing too much attention. Polka would be constantly on the defensive, having to outmaneuver both the cops and the criminals he's affiliated with. It could make for a thrilling cat-and-mouse story, with Polka's survival and avoidance of both sides' agendas driving the plot forward. Misaki creates room for an escape with Polka by ambushing the police officer and making a run for it with Polka. Misaki and Polka ran off to Clarissa Bar where they are later ambushed by the notorious Lemmings. One of the police officers and his men charged at Lemmings, but Lemmings deflected them. In the dark room, Lemmings was so fast in taking out all of the police officer's men and is later attacked by one of the supernaturally gifted police officers. He tried smashing a broken glass into Lemmings' body but it wouldn't penetrate, shattering the glass completely. Lemmings managed to get a hold of all of his attacks but charged at Misaki instead and tried to kidnap her. Misaki loved getting picked up at the bar. Polka knew he had a choice to make: risk exposing his necromantic powers to save Misaki, or hold back and potentially watch her get kidnapped by Lemmings. Tension in the air. Polka could feel the weight of the decision pressing down on him. These were not his friends, he told himself, just criminal acquaintances he'd fallen in with out of necessity. But deep down, he knew he couldn't just stand by and watch her get taken. Lemmings is a human that have been pushed well beyond the limits of humanity. According to Polka's evil eye, Lemmings was surrounded by a lot of ghosts. With a deep breath, Polka raised his hands, summoning the dark energies that coursed through him. Polka is now a hopeless sentimental fool. The battle was not a long one as Lemmings managed to dodge all Polka's skeleton attacks. Afterwards, Polka and Misaki escapes. Polka decided to start up a business in order to generate money to buy materials filled with mana. Soer started a fortune-telling business and all his predictions were 100% correct. After Making 100 grand in a day, Polka is visited by his niece and nephew, Shizaki and Kazuki. They are both a couple of rich brats who look down on everyone. Their mother was assassinated by the fake fire-breathing bug. He infiltrates his targets in disguise and slowly prepares the scene, like a bug patiently chewing through your house with you even knowing it is there, and then he breathes fire. The fire-breathing bug always leaves a message at the scene saying this world is a buggy program. And the fire-breathing bug is now trying to kill the kids too. The next day, Polka and Misaki went to visit his family. Afterwards, Polka's father called up Polka for a private discussion because he noticed something was off about Polka. When Polka got there, he asked Polka some questions and Polka lied to him straight up. His father didn't buy the story and threatened to kill him if he continued lying. The corpse god in the body of Polka sensed that Kazuki and Shizuki might be in danger. Since the corpse god can see ghosts, he promised their dead mother that he will protect them, so he begged his father to trust him to come back and explain everything. He accepted and let him go. Kazuki and Shizuki were informed by their butler that there was a fire outburst and needed to exit the building immediately. Their dead mother, who was always watching over them, cried in pain as she did not want her children to die. The butler took the twins down to a basement and showed them a fake exit passage. The fire-breathing bug disguised as a butler to take out the twins. As soon as he wanted to burn the twins, Misaki came out of the shadows with a knee kick directly on his jaw and another kick straight to his face. Their fight lasted for a while and Misaki had the upper hand. Misaki, who is now a zombie, isn't harmed by the fire attacks from the fire-breathing bug, so he ignites the whole floor, trapping the kids in the flames too. As they thought all hope was lost, Polka jumped in, saving them from the fire. The fire-breathing bug disguised as a maid, but Polka saw right through the disguise, and then Misaki charged at him with a kick. The fire-breathing bug unleashed flames to burn Polka and Misaki. Polka's vision was somehow blurry with the fire, but when he looked at the other side of the flame, he saw two people standing. One of them was Lemmings. He took out the fake fire-breathing bug by smashing his head to the ground in the fire, and later on he disappeared in the shadows. The fake fire-breathing bug is later apprehended by the police, and on their way to lock him up he sees a writing on top of the car saying, "This world is a buggy program." So it cries out for the flame. As soon as he saw that, he got burnt and exploded. Turns out he was a fake and the real fire-breathing bug burned him. Polka later on explained to his father the story of how he took possession of his son's body after a group of assassins tried to kill him. Polka's father was hostile at first, but later gave in as he knew they were saying the truth. Switching to the police department, the Phantom Solitaire escapes prison. He is a troublemaker, magician who wants human with real magical powers to reach out to him as a fellow wizard. He made a metropolitan building disappear by covering it with pictures of the sky and other buildings, effectively creating the illusion that the whole building had vanished, as well as kidnapping the Prime Minister in front of all his bodyguards. He got into a confrontation with the real fire-breathing bug, and this is how it turned out to be. Polka's niece Sayo moves in unexpectedly with her trainee butler. The butler claims he was sent to protect Sayo, but he has other hidden intentions. The butler installs microphones around the house that record what everyone is saying. You see, the butler is upset because Polka's father decided to put his trust in the corpse god and he's trying to paint Polka as a bad person. He thinks Polka is a sad excuse for a son, a disgrace and a weakling to the core, so he also plans on killing the real Polka. The butler thinks he can do better and be a more better son to Polka's father than Polka can even imagine. He has so much love for his master because he got into an accident and the doctor said he will never be able to walk again. His initial father sees him as a tool and broken tools are supposed to be discarded. But besides that, Polka's father decided to treat him and buy him from his father no matter the price. So now he owes Polka's father his life. While Clarissa and her associated are discussing about something here and I was lost, but let's skip that part for now. The gifted police officers pay a visit to the location in which Polka tells fortunes in hopes of asking Polka some questions. Polka takes his fortune-telling business serious and reveals dark truths to him, including a secret drawing causing him to become hostile at Polka. The Phantom Solitaire also steals the same drawing Polka showed the police officer and he plans to get more information on it. The Phantom Solitaire hires multiple balloons to fly with the symbol and he put a clone of himself on one of the balloons who was later on shot by a sniper, convincing him that the symbol is important for a certain organization. Sayo went to shower and Masaki followed her in for some reason and they also had a lot to say, but I didn't manage to listen to what they were saying. Let's skip that part and go ahead with the rest of the story. Later on that evening, the fire-breathing bug sends a message to Polka calling Polka the bastard child of Saberman. Tension in the air as the Phantom Solitaire is also trying to get to Polka and he is cornered by the butler trainee who is an undercover guard for Polka's father. The battle lasted a while as the Phantom Solitaire was able to dodge all the attacks by the butler. Lemmings also appeared in the middle of the scene because he has been sent by Polka's relative to protect him. Lemmings was on strict order not to harm the butler, so he focused on Solitaire. The human safety police also showed up in front of Polka's house for investigations. Polka, realizing he was surrounded by lemmings and other powerful entities, he used his magic to secure the area. The police officers see one of the fire-breathing bug associates and goes on to question her, but she lied, saying she lost her dog and he ran off towards that direction. Although the policemen bought the story, Polka didn't, cause he could not sense any dogs with his evil eye. Polka went on to expand his power across a large ratio around his warehouse. Everyone starts to feel a strange presence as Polka uses this power. Polka also goes on to use a technique called invincible hands. By sympathizing with the dead, Polka can share senses with their hands. This invincible hand serves as a restraint tool to hold and interfere with the movement of his opponents. Phantom Solitaire struggles to escape, but Polka created a flock of invincible hands, but his powers was insufficient to restrain any of them. Make sure to please like, subscribe and share and comment part 2 if you need the part 2.